I gave my viewers a free truck to redesign it however they wanted, and I said I'd review them in a later video, because I saw how amazing the 3D print community were at taking things like the 3D Benchy project and making their own derivatives. So I made the truck's licensed public domain so anyone can make their own remixes. And the first ever derivative is the Trenchy without wheels, created by Jay McFerrin, who will appear more than once in this video. If you saw my Benchy versus Trenchy comparison, you might recognize it. This model can be paired with the cinder blocks to raise the vehicle off the ground, and I can confidently say that I definitely would not have thought of this redesign. Next up is the Trenchy limo, and when I was tipped off to this, I had some preconceptions in my head, because I didn't realize it was going to be the body that was elongated. I assumed that the truck bed would be extended, and honestly I think it looks hilarious this way, so props to Trails5 for this derivative. But this got me thinking, what if I made the Trenchy limousine, but instead I elongated the bed? And so I did make it. Now, as much as this doesn't maximize the silly, it does seem to increase the utility. And what's fascinating about this is that the horizontal bridging on the inside wall is structurally as sound as the other Trenchy models, even though the printer has a much longer distance to bridge. But this next model is a step outside of the norm, because for once there was a model with extra parts. And this is yet another model by Jay McFerrin. But with this model, it's supposed to boost the wheels like a monster truck. And it comes with these fittings that snugly fit inside the wheel housing without any glue. Now, the idea here is that you print off some flexible TPU to fit the tires around these bearings, but I haven't used TPU myself, so I'm missing out on some function here. But overall, I really like this expansion, which, by the way, comes with its own derivative flag, which I think I'm going to make for each of the upcoming models. However, I ran into a problem. There weren't any more derivatives left. Like, none. And look, I only just reached 3,000 subs with my last video. Thanks, by the way. But I'm limited in how many people there are to actually submit their own Trenchy models. So I made 6 more derivatives myself. And don't worry, I'll be sharing them for free at the end. With this next one, I took inspiration from my most recent video, turning Pokemon into cars, which I don't think the algorithm liked very much. In this video, I made a combination of Psyduck and a Tuk-Tuk, which is this 3-wheelmobile. And how I did this was by printing the model halfway, then I slot in this part that acts as a third wheel. And when I resume the print from where it left off, it seals the wheel inside the model. And this is the kind of derivative I love. It's the same truck in spirit, but there's this big creative alteration that makes it special. Now, before I move on to the next model, I wanted to say that this doesn't have to be the last episode in this series. It would be awesome if we could get a sequel. And the best way to guarantee this is by remixing the model yourself. And once you've done that, if you reply to my pinned comment with the name of your submission, as well as which site you uploaded it to, I'll be able to review it in the next episode of this series. And if you're not confident in your 3D skills, that's fine. You can like and share the video, or you can try your hand at making a derivative of just the Trenchy flag, which I've left a download link to in the description. So on to my next model, continuing the theme of wheel modifications. I decided to try my hand at a monster truck. So I thickened the wheel arches, I made the tires themselves wider, and then I cleaned up some little areas, like adding this skirt under the door, which I think makes the truck look more compact and the wheels look bigger. And look at that, the wheels spin perfectly fine. I love it. But as far as derivatives go, you don't always have to create a new function. So here's where I created what I call a smiley fender. And, oh god, this is hideous. It looks like Pixar's Cars, but for adults. And I don't like it one bit. So to cleanse my palette, I made another one, but with a much more appealing face. I slanted the upper cabin to make these eyebrows, which gave the truck a much more cartoony feel. And I think we can all agree on who this looks like. So with the cursed imagery out of the way, I thought it would be great to make more cursed imagery. And I did this by daisy chaining the Trenchy into a train cart, because I've always loved these snakes and dragons that people build. And I thought this would be a perfect mod to apply to our truck, which actually creates a much smoother turn, as well as increasing the storage capacity of the vehicle. I was afraid that the carriages would just scrape along the floor, but it seems that all the wheels make contact with the ground. But as ridiculous as all these derivatives clearly are, nothing can eclipse how dumb and impractical this next model is. But before I show you, I just want to say, linked below is my GitHub page, which stores the original Trenchy in both STL and 3MF formats, as well as the diagnostic manual denoting all the Trenchy's 3D printing stress testing features. There's also a folder with all the flags I created, as well as a 3MF plate including every derivative I made for this video. So without further ado, I call this the backwards Trenchy, which at first glance doesn't seem too peculiar until, yeah. The only difference with this is that the cabin is facing the wrong way and the flagpole is on the wrong side. So, thanks for watching, guys.